What's going on, guys? We're back here on Pokemon Showdown with my 2 games against Bob the Bay, otherwise known as Yifeng on the Smogon forums. And this is game 1 of our best of 3 series for the ULT tournament. And I bring this really interesting offensive team with Chestnut as a glue. I'm particularly proud of this Gudra set. It's actually a lure. It's a Lonely Nature with a Life Orb. But 2 it KOs both Florges and Blissey with Iron Tail and Superpower respectively. And as you can see, he does bring his Florges, so Slurpuff, just looking at team preview, Slurpuff kind of annihilates his team. It can set up on a good amount of it, as I find out later, and once it gets up a belly drum, it's pretty much a clean sweep. But I still decide to play cautiously going into this, so I lead off with Nidoqueen, figuring that I want to get rocks up first turn, as he leads off with his Vaporeon. He has 2 potential Defoggers and Crobat and Aerodactyl, so I didn't think it'd be worth it to set up rocks on this turn and then just die to Scald. So I switch out here into my Heliolisk as he predicts that nicely and goes for Baton Pass. So now he's able to Baton Pass into his Aerodactyl and potentially 1-KO me. So I didn't realize it when I was actually building this team, but it's really weak to Aerodactyl. I really wasn't expecting him to bring it since it's more of an offensive choice, and I've played him a couple times on the ladder when I was actually laddering up for the laddering part of ULT, and he's known for bringing more defensive styles. So I really wasn't expecting this from him, but now I'm kind of worried because this Nidoqueen's not even defensive, it's offensive. And unfortunately he gets the Stone Edge crit. Not going to matter too much because Aerial Ace would have been a 2-hit KO after that regardless. And this play kind of is haunting me to this day. I should have gone for Rocks here. But I guess my impulse when I was actually in the game was this Aerodactyl's a threat. I need to go for Ice Beam right now. And so he hits me with the Aerial Ace. Luckily I survive and I hit him with the Ice Beam. It doesn't even kill because later I found out that I messed up this Nidoqueen. It's not Sheer Force, it's Poison Point, but it's still modest max special attack, so it's able to bring it down to 9%. And the reason I should have gone for Rocks there is, well, you're going to see later on in the match, because he could have just killed me there. I could have just brought in Slurpuff, set up a Belly Drum, and I would have won right there. But instead I just lose my Nidoqueen without setting up Rocks for that sweep. So I send in Gudra instead. I really just want to get rid of this thing because it kind of annihilates my team. As he switches in his Florges, which isn't a problem, I didn't bother predicting and going for Iron Tail there, just because if he stayed in and gone for Roost or something like that, I could have missed. And also, Moonblast doesn't OHKO Gudra, even after the Life Orb damage. It actually doesn't even come close. And in turn, Iron Tail is able to 2-KO him. And it's kind of tricky because this Florges is one of the things that I can set up on with my Slurpuff, so I actually really didn't want to kill it. It was kind of a misplay on my part, even revealing Iron Tail. I should have just let him kill me, gone into Slurpuff, and then just set up. But now he's going to switch out into his Vaporeon, one of the things I actually can't really afford to set up on, just because there is the 30% chance of burning, and there I just lose my win condition. So I decided to just go into Aerodactyl. I actually don't really know why I did this play. I was actually just hoping I could sack it to bring in my Heliolisk safely, and also to punish him if he wanted to predict my Heliolisk switch in and switch out to, say, his... Actually, I really don't know what I was thinking there. But anyway, it works out for me because he brings out his Cobalion, one of the things I can't really set up on with Slurpuff, and I'm able to get a clean 3-hit KO with the Aerial Ace. He's not running Life Orb or anything, so Iron Head is not going to be able to finish me off, and I just KO him back with Aerial Ace, as he brings in his own Aerodactyl. And it is indeed a speed tie, since we're both running max speed. I was really hoping he was running some of the HP, like in the strategy decks, but he isn't, and he wins the speed tie. And okay, here is where I kind of realized that, well, I was banking on a Stone Edge miss here because I could just Volt Switch out of there. But, so my only hope is to send in my Slurpuff, and this is where I actually take the time to do the damage calcs. And this is where that other play with the Nidoqueen is kind of coming back to me, because, like I said before, I could just set up Rocks there. He could have killed me, I could have just brought this in, I didn't realize it at the time, but Slurpuff takes the Stone Edge a lot better than I thought. And I actually can set up on this Aerodactyl and just win with a +6, +2 Slurpuff. And at this point, I mean, I thinking to myself, I run return for Crobat, I have this game won. But of course, hindsight is always perfect. Return actually doesn't end up killing, which was devastating for me. I asked him for a spread later. He's actually running like 252 defense with like a little bit of HP and max and the rest in speed, which so the roll was actually even in his favor there with return. But if I'd gotten Stealth Rocks up, that would have been a KO. So, but of course, hindsight is perfect, and I pretty much just lose here because Chestnut loses to this no matter what. Even if Acrobatics doesn't end up 1-KOing, but so yeah, that game is lost, so I'm not gonna like bother. I'm just like desperately trying to win with Guja here by Leech Seeding and setting up spikes, but the game's basically over and I do end up losing. So this is game 2 against Yifeng, and I bring a different team this time. This is a little bit more of a balanced team, and Superior is allowed in this tournament since it's currently under suspect test, so I decided to bring my Superior, and once again, it actually does a good number to his team once I get rid of his Crobat. So I'm going to lead out here with my Lucario, expecting his Empoleon lead, and here I actually predict his Crobat, but he actually goes into his Suicune because it can take 2 close combats pretty easily if it's the Bold Max set. But so I'm basically forced out here because I went for Ice Punch instead. So I decided to just go into my Swampert directly instead of going to Superior. This serves 2 purposes. In case he wanted to overpredict and go into Crobat, I could just set up my rocks for free. And even then, I don't really mind if I get burned just because I have a Cleric in Florges right here, and I thought rocks would be pretty important for this game, as they would have been last game. So I learned from my mistake and set up rocks this time, and now I go to Superior, and once again I predict his Crobat and I get it, well, not yet, he goes for the Skull, but I get his Crobat this time and go for Glare. So now Bob is in a pretty bad position because the next time my Superior comes in, it'll be able to clean up pretty well with the with Leaf Storm, and now that he has a paralyzed Crobat, it'll be hit by one of my coverage moves. So that's looking pretty grim for him. So obviously I don't want to take an Acrobatics or a Brave Bird, and I can't knock him out at +0. So I go into my Aerodactyl here as he breaks through Paralysis and goes for Defog, but I double switch here, predicting him to want to switch in his either his Empoleon or even his Tyrantrum in on a Stone Edge or an Aerial Ace, or maybe not his Tyrantrum, but like his Suicune. And I go back into my Swampert because I want to set up rocks again, but he stays in and goes for Toxic, which is kind of a momentum killer for me because now I have to switch back out since there's not a whole lot of point in going for Stealth Rocks on a Defogger. So I actually just switched back out into my Aerodactyl, and I figured I could avoid the Toxic because I'm pretty confident he's not going to go for it again, as he switches out into his Heracross, which is great for me because now it's basically a free Mega Evolution, and I can see if this thing is Scarfed, which it's not, but he switches out into Empoleon and it's able to take the Aerial Ace quite well. So here I'm forced into my Swampert because I really just want to get damage on this. In all honesty, again, I don't go for rocks. I don't know. Actually, there was a good reason this time. What I wanted to do is get this thing in range of Leaf Storm from my Superior because it probably is special defensive. I'm actually not sure. But if it was, this move would ensure that Leaf Storm killed. And here, he got a higher roll with Skull. Before it was doing like 27%. So I really wasn't expecting this next one to kill since I was at 32. And I thought, you know, I could just get up my rocks here, and that would make it a lot easier for Superior to sweep. But unfortunately, he gets a higher roll here, and he manages to knock me out before I can get up my rocks, which is going to come into play once again here because I go for the Leaf Storm. So I got my +2. I figured he would either go into his Abomasnow or back into Crobat. I actually have Dragon Pulse on the Superior, and I calced it. And if this is a bulkier Crobat, which it more than likely is, considering how weak his team is to Superior, I figured Dragon Pulse wouldn't kill, so I didn't want to risk my win condition, and I checked the Suicune, so I switched back out into Aerodactyl, as he went for the Toxic again. I guess I guess that wasn't too risky of a play, just because if it didn't work out for him and I stayed in, he still had his Abomasnow to revenge kill me after the Life Orb recoil and the toxic damage. So, and here I make kind of a misplay. I really just should have gone for the Stone Edge here. I was really afraid of missing, but at the same time I should have considered that he wouldn't sack his Crobat, which if it's healthy would still be useful against my Superior. And he switches in his Tyrantrum, and oh, I actually go for Defog, but I really just should have gone for Stone Edge, because that would have 2-hit killed this Tyrantrum. And now here I have to stay in, because I have to get damage on this. But as you can see, the Stone Edge is almost a 2-hit KO, and he goes for Rock Polish here. If I'd gone for Stone Edge the turn before, and this turn as well, he either would have died, or he would have died to Extreme Speed from one of my priority users afterwards. So, but again, hindsight is always perfect. So he goes for Head Smash, knocks me out. Oh yeah, the Life Orb recoil would have knocked him out if I had gotten the other Stone Edge in, which I didn't because for some reason I went for Defog. I figured I would need Entei for this match, which I don't know why, looking back on it, but he's able to knock me out. As I go into floor, just I am a bold variant, so I thought maybe I could take a hit, but he gets a crit and knocks me out. So that's kind of devastating because that basically just forces me to sack both of my priority users to kill this thing with extreme speeds. And I'm not even choice banded, so I figured here that I'd probably have to sack both my Entei and my Lucario to bring this thing down. But luckily, he doesn't want to risk the miss with the Rock Smash, so he actually just goes for Earthquake and doesn't knock me out. So here I'm going to be able to take him out with another Extreme Speed. But he's just able to go into Abomasnow and go for the Ice Shard to revenge kill me. So knowing that, I just decided to go for Extreme Speed to get some damage off before I inevitably go down. So now I go into my Lucario, and I figured he wouldn't want to switch out because one of my win conditions is actually the Swords Dance Lucario, and since I figured this would be a physical Abomasnow with Earthquake, so he probably just wants to prevent me from setting up and probably just went for Earthquake, so that's why I went straight for the close combat here, not risking that, and at least taking out one of his checks to my Superior. As he just brings in his Heracross here, I believe, and here I just go for Extreme Speed, figuring maybe he was a Jolly variant and could outspeed me since I am Adamant, and I wanted to bring him into range of Superior's Leaf Storm possibly, but I think he kind of chokes by going for close combat. Maybe he doesn't have anything else to hit me with, but now with the -1 drops from close combat, I'll definitely be able to knock him out with a Leaf Storm. And he's not banded, so he just goes down to that. So here, I pretty much just need a paralysis on his Crobat in order to win this game. And considering how much this Dragon Pulse does to this Crobat, I'm guessing he was more offensive, and also because he's going to reveal Brave Bird right here, which is usually only carried by more offensive versions. If I had been carrying HP Ice, I might have been able to knock him out, so kind of a choke on my part not bringing HP Ice on Superior, which is otherwise pretty standard. The reason I stopped using Hidden Power on Superior on the ladder was because I didn't want to risk speed ties with other Superior if I carry like HP Fire or HP Rock. But either HP Ice or HP Rock or Ice would have been really helpful for this match, because I'll actually do the calc right now. If he was an offensive Crobat, which means like 40... Yeah, HP Ice did 88 to 104, and if he didn't have any HP EVs, if he just has 4, then it does 90 to 107. So that was kind of a mistake on my part. Overall, though, I mean, immediately after this battle, I thought, man, I played this battle badly, but in reality, I didn't play this really that bad. His Tyrantrum caught me off guard, but I'm not too upset in the end because I feel like I could have won both games, but just little things that just prevented me from winning. Game 1, I lost because I was playing too conservatively. My plan from the beginning, just looking at his team, should have been to just set up rocks and then set up. but I didn't do that, and I didn't get the roll, so I lost. And in the second game, I wasn't running HP Rock or Ice, so I didn't even get a chance at the roll, and then I didn't get the Para, so I lost because of that. So in the end, both games were perfectly winnable for me, but just those tiny mistakes that cost me in the end. So it wasn't like I got blown out of the water, so in the end, I didn't feel too bad about losing both of those matches. They were very good games, and I wish Yifeng luck in the future rounds of ULT, which I might be commentating. So if you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe.